Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Chainlink. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. If you haven't seen the previous update, make sure to watch that before watching this one. It's going to be in the top right hand corner of the video. Also, if you want to support Ukraine, there are two donation links down below in the description. Feel free to do so. And let's get straight into the technical analysis. So jumping into the daily chart, this is TradingView. As you can see, we are in this channel up pattern right now, and usually channel up patterns typically break to the downside, and you are going to see a move to the downside, especially if Bitcoin is going to lose its current support. It's going to drop below $18,000. Then Chainlink most definitely is going to come back down to retest this low over here at $6.25, if not lower, right? You could potentially come back all the way down here to retest the blue trend line, which is the previous resistance of this channel down pattern that we were in for quite some time. And then you broke out of it here in August. You back tested it as support twice, and now you're on your way to the upside. But like I said, things are good until they're not. And for now, Bitcoin is not showing any sign of strength. Obviously, we are very oversold, and we can see a very strong pump out of the blue any day, but you have to be ready for that. So you don't want to be waiting for these prices just because you think they're going to come. You either dollar cost average during the dips, or you buy the current prices. For now, I have enough Chainlink in my bags, and if we drop back down to $6.25, I'm definitely gonna dollar cost average into that as well. But there is potentially one last capitulation coming for the crypto markets, because we still haven't seen the Bitcoin miners capitulate, and that is typically the last kind of signal for the bear market's bottom. Right now, the hash rate is basically at all-time highs, and until we see a capitulation, I wouldn't be so sure that we have printed our bottom for crypto. Obviously, $17,500 could be our bottom, but if it's not, I'm looking for $16,800 and $14,000 as the bottom for Bitcoin. So just have those numbers in mind when looking at Chainlink. So if you see Bitcoin at $14,000 and Chainlink is sitting somewhere here at $5, then there's a good chance that that's the bottom for Chainlink, because Bitcoin is potentially bottoming out. So you have to understand that altcoins follow Bitcoin. So right now, not much going on with Chainlink. As you can see, we do have this Fib retracement on the chart. So this is our swing low, the one that we printed at the end of August, and the swing high that we printed in the middle of August, and we have our 1.618 target here at $12.28. So if we start breaking this high here, we're going to be looking at $12.30 as our technical target, okay? But only if we start breaking this high. That's how the Fib retracement works, because usually once you break this high, you typically retrace all the way up to the 1.618, or sometimes even the second Fib level. In this case, that is sitting at $14.41. But like I said, anything can happen. Usually October and November are very bullish months. So we typically see at the start of the move sometime in October, and that leads to a uptrend into November. We have an FOMC meeting coming up at the beginning of November. So if we are going to see an uptrend, I do think that the beginning of November is when we're going to print our local top, just because after the FOMC meeting, they're probably going to announce that they're raising the interest rates by another 75 basis points. And I do think that's going to drive the markets back down. Potentially, we could also see a very bullish move into November, and we could drop back down sometime in December and January, have that last capitulation. So you have to be ready for both outcomes. I can't tell you what's going to happen. I can only give you support levels to look for in case things go south. So jumping into the daily RSI here, you can see that you have a major support trend line that you tested once in May, once in August, and potentially you're going to be looking for another test sometime this year, before the end of the year. And that would be a great entry point. However, if we do drop below this trend line, I would be looking at the oversold here, which is below the index of 30. So just like you were oversold here, this would be a very good buying opportunity in my opinion, because usually you do start recovering from there pretty quickly. Even if you're looking for a short to mid-term trade, this is a great entry point. And if you're buying for the long term like I am, then obviously these are the juiciest prices for us. So I really do hope that Chainlink drops down below $5, but I don't know how realistic that is. And like I said, if Bitcoin decides to go to $14,000, anything can happen. At that point, altcoins will be decimated. So that would be a great opportunity to fill your bags with all of the altcoins that you're looking for. And right now, speaking about Chainlink's long-term success, I do think the project is going to go back up to its all-time high prices sometime next year potentially. I'm not sure. It depends on when the bull market kicks off. We may get back to $20-$30 next year and get into the bull market in 2024. I think that's the most likely outcome. And yeah, so I do think we're going to see $150 per Chainlink token sometime in 2024. So that's what I'm waiting for, because if you drop a Fibonacci retracement here from the low that we printed in June to the swing high that we have in November, that gives you the 1.618 target at $231. Now, that may be a bit far-fetched, but you all know that anything can happen in crypto. So if you want to be a little bit more conservative, then you could target the 1.414 here at $143.50 and the 1.272 Fibonacci level, which is at $103. So those are good exit points in my opinion, and you can just dollar cost average your way out of these out of Chainlink at these prices and just leave a little bit for the 1.618 there. And yeah, so that's regarding Chainlink. Let's switch over to the Binance website. So let's go to the weekly here, and I do want to show you the RSI. So I'm showing this basically in every single video because this is very important. So the fact that we have broken out of this falling wedge on the weekly chart is very bullish. We came back for the test of support here. And right now, what I do think may happen is that we may run into this red trend line as resistance. As you can see, we had a rejection back in April of this year, and we may do that once again here in October or November. So if you are around this level here and you've rejected that, then you can potentially take some profits and wait for a retracement. You could always take a look at the daily chart, see if you're overbought there. If you're above the index of 70 on the daily and the weekly is running into this resistance, then you're probably going to see a retracement sometime in the next couple of weeks, and that's when you can buy back in. But that's all a theory, right? We don't know if that's actually going to play out. So I would keep an eye on this resistance level. If we do break above this in November, then I would wait for at least this level to be retested here, because usually, like I said, you have bullish moves in November, but the past 3 years we haven't really been in a bear market. Like 2019, we did see a nice move to the upside, but really 2020 and 2021, those are the years where we really peaked out in November. So the same thing can happen here. And speaking of 2020, that was actually our kind of prelude to the bull market. And basically the latter part of 2020, we were setting up higher highs for the bull market. So I don't think that's going to be happening this time around, because the sentiment is still bearish. People are trying to stay away from risk on assets. And yeah, so another resistance level here for you to keep an eye on the weekly RSI is at 58.9. Now switching over to the daily chart real quick, I do want to show you this ascending triangle that we are in. So as you can see, you're constantly printing higher lows, but you're running into a horizontal resistance above. So typically you do break to the upside from such a pattern, and you can see the target, the potential target from that pattern if you take a trend line from the top to the bottom of the triangle and you place it at the potential point of breakout. That's going to give you your target at $12.75. That is something that we may be looking at in November, and that goes in line with what we looked at the previous chart as well, at the 1.618 level over there. So keep that in mind. And if you start losing the support of this pattern, that's going to be quite negative, especially if you keep rejecting it as resistance and you run your head into that, then I would definitely be looking to sweep these lows as well, because you do have multiple wicks here to the downside. And typically what price action likes to do is you print these wicks, you start coming up, and then you come back down to fill those wicks with candles, and you grab all the liquidity from there, and then you continue towards the upside. And obviously you liquidate a bunch of long positions in the process. That's just how the market works. And yeah, so this also would be a great exit point for any of you looking for mid-term trades. So for now, from where we are, that is a nice 23% trade. Not too bad for a bear market, if you ask me. And obviously you have the 200 EMA as well, which is the purple line over here. So I would eyeball that as a potential resistance for us. So that's pretty much it. If I missed out anything important on the charts, please let me know down below in the comment section. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. Feel free to join me on Patreon. I'm going to catch you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.